Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second Facebook Live. My name is Rebecca Scaris, and I'm the video coordinator at Immigrant Services Calgary. Currently, I'm working on the Smart Tips video series, which is a project that was started about a year ago. And yeah, so it's a project that involves making a bunch of videos that are scenario based. And basically, they're to help newcomers learn about topics in Alberta. The videos are available in English, and then we also translate them into Arabic, Chinese, French, Hindi, Spanish, Tigrinya, and Farsi. So that's really exciting that they're in 7 different languages. Basically, the videos are to help them newcomers get information and resources about life in Alberta. And we actually have a whole page with more resources. So it's not just the video, but there's also a page on our website that also shows all the resources. At this moment, there are 9 videos, almost 10, and there will be another 5 after that. Today, we are debuting our latest video, which is how to identify and avoid scams and fraud, which is a very important topic, I think, for newcomers to know about. Today, we are joined by 2 guests. So we are joined by Keely Greer from the Calgary Police Service and Shauna K. Thomas from the Better Business Bureau today. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them. So Keely is a 12-year member of the Calgary Police Service. She has worked in areas such as break and enter, a district operational team, and offender management. Constable Greer joined the fraud team in 2018 and believes that prevention and education are essential tools in the fight against fraud. So welcome, Keely. And then we also have Shauna, and Shauna is the team lead for communications and community engagement at the Better Business Bureau. Shauna K. has been with the Better Business Bureau for the past 2 years and is responsible for, among other things, creating awareness of scams and frauds in Southern Alberta. For the past 10 years, Shauna K. has been working in marketing and communications, developing and telling stories for nonprofits, government, and private sector companies. So she works for the Better Business Bureau, which has, for the past more than 100 years, been helping people find trustworthy businesses and charities. The Better Business Bureau is a nonprofit, business-supported organization that sets and upholds high standards for fair and honest business behavior. So you can visit the website at bbb.org for more information. So welcome, Shauna and Keely, to our presentation today. Today is just going to be a casual sit down with some small presentations. And we'll just chat a little bit about scams and frauds. I hope the information will be helpful and it will save some newcomers from falling for scams and fraud. If you have any questions, you can put them into the chat box and we will get them from someone who's helping us today, and hopefully we can answer them at the end of the presentations. So yeah, let's start with some warm-up questions. Okay, so can you both tell me just how you were involved in this project? Sure, we'll start with Keely.
I have a pretty short answer. I was just asked by Immigrant Services if I could help out with some of the details of the videos in terms of how accurate they were for the sort of frauds that we see as police officers. And hopefully in the end, maybe I helped polish the product.
Yeah, I think it was good. It was important for sure. And Shauna, what did you do for the project?
So for us at the Better Business Bureau, similar to CPS, we were contacted by Immigrant Services to provide some content in terms of the kinds of frauds that we're seeing, and how people can avoid falling for these frauds. There was good conversation back and forth for developing the content, making sure that we get the right information out that could save people money. And it was our pleasure working with the team on that.
Thank you. And so I thought I would ask, how are you? So you I kind of mentioned in your thing how you relate to scams and fraud in Alberta and what your goals are. What do you think are the scams and frauds that happen to newcomers the most? If you had to choose one, just one scam.
Is that for me?
Sure, go ahead. You can go first. Maybe she has a different opinion.
That's tough. That's a tough one, but I would say employment scam stands at the top, that newcomers are at risk of falling for and losing money to. That's a big one. And secondly, if I could mention another one, it would be people who try to be the government. And I'm sure CPS knows a lot about this because they're also a resource for people who have received these calls or think they may fall. So those would be the top two for us here for newcomers.
Okay. And Keely, what do you think are the top two scams that newcomers fall for?
Well, like Shauna Kay said, it's a bit tough to narrow it down, but I think she's right in terms of people representing themselves as the government. So pretending to be from the police, for example, Service Canada, Canada Revenue Agency. And then another one that I don't think is reported very well through the police is immigration consultant fraud. There are people who are licensed to help you with applications to come to Canada and perhaps can help in terms of job and education opportunities here. And then there are people who aren't licensed. And it's the unlicensed ones who take cash deposits, don't provide receipts, don't give you a contract or anything to sign. And then it's hard to follow up with them because they don't answer their phone call, or they just tell you your application is in, but they don't update you. So I think those ones are reported quite a lot of the time for us, but the ones that I have seen and been involved with are pretty big. There's a lot of people who've paid these people and not gotten what they paid for.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's hard to narrow it down to just 2 or 3 scams that happen because there are so many. So Shauna is going to give a little presentation about what are scams and what are some common scams, just to go more into some other scams. So I will share my screen and make it full screen mode. Okay. So Shauna, whenever you're ready, you can just tell me to change the.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
I'm seeing your screen.
It says it's paused. Weird. Oh, okay. Sorry, the Facebook is just a little bit behind.
Okay, so maybe delayed.
So I'm just seeing if it's sharing.
I think it's sharing now.
I think so. Yeah, because it's hold on, I'll just redo it again just to make sure. Okay, I think that's good. Just share my whole screen. Okay. What is happening? Okay. Okay. I'll just leave it as a small screen. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'll just look at a few of the top scams that we're seeing. Of course, there's so many scams that are always changing and always evolving. The scammers always change their ways of trying to get people's money or their personal information. And that's a good point for us to start on by just describing briefly what a scam is. You can go ahead, Rebecca. So, what's a scam? Many people, when I go to do these kinds of presentation, they're like, "What's a scam? How do I know if it's a scam?" So, scams come through many ways. It could be a phone call, it could be an email, it could be a text message. Sometimes it's a live person on the other end of the phone call, a real person, a real voice. Other times it's a robot, a robocall. So that's how they usually come. And primarily they make false promises, promises that are not true and that they will not keep, offering opportunities to buy products, to invest your money, or they may say you're getting a free trial for a product. So you can try for free for 1 month or 2 months, and then later on it turns out that you have to start paying. They may even say you've won the lottery or they're offering you a grant when they're pretending to be the government offering grants or a government agency or a nonprofit offering grant. Um, and they're after two main things though. They're after your money and they're after your personal information. And your personal information is important to them because when they get this, they can then use it to steal your identity, try to steal your identity. So take out credit card in your name, maybe buy a car in your name, use your personal information to pretend to be you to get benefits from that. So that's in a nutshell, briefly, what a scam is. I'm just going to move to one of the top ones that we see being reported to BBB. You can go ahead. Tech scam. Now, this scam is not one that we should take lightly. Many people, even though we're in this age of using technology a lot, there are many people who are not too familiar with technology. And so this makes them vulnerable. This makes them likely to fall for this scam or to be caught off guard by this scammer. So look out for unsolicited calls. And these people, they claim to be from Microsoft, Apple, Samsung, or reputable tech companies. And they may say that they have detected a virus on your computer. And so you need to give them access. You need to give them remote access. So they're not in your building, they're not in your at your location, but they want you to allow them to access your system. Eventually, what they try to do is get you to pay for unnecessary or even harmful services. So you may pay, and then suddenly a malware is downloaded to your computer, which can then mess up your system, get your personal information, that kind of thing. So, how do you protect yourself from this one? We can move on. Never give control to your computer, of your computer to another person unless you know the representative. Don't give over control. Unless you reached out to a company directly and asked for help, don't give over control to someone who calls out of the blue, suddenly, out of nowhere, and asks to have access to your system. Another important thing to remember is that a company that is real will not um, suddenly reach out to you to say there is a problem with your computer and they can't support you. If you hear that on the other end of the line, hang up. And you're free to hang up. And don't click on unfamiliar ads that you may see popping up while you're working on your computer. So there are ads popping up, there are links popping up. Try not to click on those. If there's a problem with your system, you take the steps necessary to find a company who you think can help you. Be proactive. So you go look for that company and not wait for a company to contact you. If a company calls out of nowhere or suddenly, you just hang up. That's what we that's our main tip that we give from the Better Business Bureau. Another top one we see is home improvement scam. And this one is popular around spring and summertime, when we're, probably even early fall, when people are trying to get their renovations done before we hit cold weather. It's one of the oldest scams out there, but it is still a problem today. And it has, for the past few years, it has been a part of our top 10 scams. Um, And just last year, consumers were at risk of losing about $700 each time they fell for this scam. So, this is not money that we have, especially now that we want that we can afford to lose. So, home improvement scam is one to look out for. It's very diverse and it's very hard to track, but we caution people to look out for door-to-door salespeople who are offering you quick and low-cost repair. So they may come to your door and they say, "We're in the area doing some work. You can get this driveway paved right now for this money, but you have to pay now and you have to do it now." That kind of urgency is a big red flag. You should be able to take some time to think about what they're offering you, and if you need their service, to contact them later on. Um, and just to caution that if you do have a door-to-door salesperson come to your door and you go into an agreement or contract, within Alberta, you have a period of about 10 days of cooling off where you can cancel the deal, cancel the contract. So majority of the reports that we see in this kind of scam has to do with shoddy work being done. The work is not done properly, or they may start the project and then they leave. And then, of course, you have to pay to complete this project. So, in doing your research, you can move on. In doing your research, we recommend that you visit bbb.org. Here you can find many trustworthy companies that will offer you good service. And when you go there, you can see reviews on the company, you can see complaints about the company. You can also do an internet search with the company's name, for example, and put scams beside it and see what pops up, what people are saying about that company. This may take you a few days to start your renovation or to start your home improvement project, but it will save you a lot of money in the long run. So do your proper research. Don't fall for the cash only deals, people coming to your door with high pressure. You have to do this now. We can only accept cash. They do not offer you a contract. Those are signs that this is likely a scam. So walk away from those. The next one we see is online purchases. Now, everybody is doing some kind of online shopping for most people these days, especially since the crisis. We've seen more people going online for everything, any kind of product. Online purchases, I think, is the next one, Rebecca. Yeah. Um, and this one again has always been on our list of common scams each time when we do our top 10 list for the year. In 2018, for example, it was a common one. 2019, it was still there on our top 10. And the top three methods for this scam in 2019 was websites, social media, and email. So on websites, for example, you're shopping. What we're seeing is that many fake websites are popping up. Websites are popping up selling fake products. Websites are popping up that are not able to deliver products that people are paying for online. And about 27%, I mean, in online activity, primarily through the use of websites, it was the number one of the three. So of website, social media, and email, website was number one. And 27% of people who went online and they got into a scam situation, 27% of those people actually lost money, and around $102 for each report, but that's still a lot of money. Um, and it's anything from subscription traps. So you start out with free trial, and then in the fine print, which we may not take the time to read, you see where you're going to be charged after the free trial period. And when you forget to cancel that subscription, you are being charged. Counterfeit goods are also there. I mentioned fake websites. Many people have also been asked to pay taxes. So buying a pet online has become very popular, and people are buying pets online, and then they have to pay taxes, they have to pay for vaccine for this pet, which they never get. Furniture, people are buying online as well, vehicles. It's basically anything. So to stay ahead of this scam, always remember that if it seemed too good to be true, it probably is. Which means if the deal is too good, if for example you know that a piece of jewelry would cost $800 in store and you're seeing it online for 300 or 200, that is an indication, that's a sign that this may be a scam. Also, when you're shopping online, make sure the website that you're using is real. Make sure the website is legitimate. And there are two things primarily that we use to know if a website is real. So in the URL, you should see a lock symbol, like a little lock that you can use to lock door, lock your bike, or something, a lock. As well as you should see HTTPS. The S should be on that to suggest that the website is secure. Also, just browse the website. Are you seeing grammatical errors? Do you see an address, a contact person, names, those kinds of information? If that's missing, then that may not be a legitimate website. You must have some way of reaching that company that now is selling products online. And don't wire money to people that you do not know. Once you send the money via wire transfer or you pay with a debit card, your money is gone. And we're not able to help you to get that back. So if you're shopping online, use a credit card as much as you can, because if it's a scam, if something goes wrong, you're usually able to, have some kind of fix to that situation with your bank, with your financial institution. And next up is employment scam. This is a big one for newcomers, for immigrants. It's a new market, new country. We've left all behind and now we're starting life in a new place. And so employment scam is, excuse me, is targeted at us as, excuse me, employment scams is targeted because we want to start quickly. We want a quick startup, right? And victims usually lose about $1,500 when they fall for this scam. So it's big money that it's big money that people are losing. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah. It's big money that people are losing. And it becomes increasingly difficult to track these scammers because they're lurking everywhere. They're on reputable job platforms, so Monster, Indeed, LinkedIn. These scammers are there and they're trying to get you to send them money or to send them your personal information. Jobs that are likely scam, they will come with high pay. They will also come with the option to work from home, to have flexible hours. And to get the job, you will not need any particular training or any certification. So it can fit a lot of people. That's what we're seeing with these scams that people are reporting. They may ask you to complete forms with your personal and sensitive information, or they may say they will send you money, a check that you should cash and send the money back to them. That is a big sign that it's a scam. Most times, if not all the time, this is a fake check, which when you take it to the bank, after having access to that money and sending it back to them, a couple of days later, the bank will call you to say the check can't be cashed, can't be cleared because it's not real, it's fake. So you now owe the bank this money that you would have sent back to them. And that's a big one that they use to fleece people of their money. And the most common victims for these would be millennials, people who are seeking jobs, new immigrants, of course, seniors, students are also vulnerable to this. So remember that if you did not apply for a job, you did not get hired for one. If you did not send a resume to a company, you are not getting a job with that company. It is likely fake. If someone just reaches out to say they've seen your resume on Indeed, for example, they'd like to have a conversation with you, research that person, research that company that they say they're representing as well. before you get into a conversation with them. And no reputable company is going to send you a check and ask you to cash it and send money back to them. So that's a sign also that it's a scam. Romance scam is one that we see. It was a big one in 2018, and it's where you meet someone online, you're chatting for a while, and then they want to take the conversation offline and have direct conversation with you. So text or email is how they want to communicate. They may also say that, they start bringing up the conversation of how much they love you and trust you, and you should trust them. They're trying to get you to believe what they're telling you. Then they go in to say, they need some funds. They need some money because of emergency situations, whether it's utilities or a parent is sick or they're traveling and they are short of cash, and they're asking you now to send money to them. That's a sign that you're dealing with a scammer, that you're getting caught in a romance scam. And the moment this happens, you want to cut off that communication and that relationship. People who are, by themselves are most at risk. These people tend to be experiencing feelings of loneliness. They have no one else they can talk to. And so they feel that this person online is the only person that they trust and who understands them. And people are losing big money for this scam as well. About $4,000 on average when people fall for this scam, they lose. And so, how to protect yourself? Um, if you're feeling isolated or if you get into a conversation where people start asking you for money that you've met online that say they love you, always reach out to a neighbor, a family, a friend, and have a conversation. And never, ever send money. Never send money. The moment that discussion of money comes up is the moment you end all communication with that person. And now the big one that most of us know about, and I think Keely will speak extensively about this, is government imposter scams. You know, just the first half of 2020, BBB conducted a research where we saw an increase for the first 6 months for calls from Service Canada. And we suspect that this has a lot to do with COVID-19 and the fact that, there's so much going on with aid from the government and it's tied to your social insurance number. So scammers are calling to say there is a problem with your social insurance number. There is illegal activity on your social insurance number. We need your social insurance number for you to get this funding from the government. Um, and when you get these calls, it's usually a robocall. So the person on the other end, most times it's a recording, it sounds like a robot, hang up. And even if it sounds like a real person claiming to be from the government, no matter how official they sound, you can move on, Rebecca. No matter how official they sound, it is not impolite to hang up. The longer you stay on the line, the more likely you will become a victim to this scam. You have to press them to make sure that they are from the government. And if they start to get agitated, if they start to threaten you, when you start to question them more about who they are and to identify and to verify that they are from the government, that's a sign that they're not from the government, because they should be able to remain calm and to find other ways of getting the information that they need from you if they are really from the government. So if they become threatening, hang up. If it's a robot, hang up. Don't press that 2 or 1 that they're asking you to press to get more information. And key is never wire money. Never send money, but never send gift cards. Never use your debit card to make those kinds of transfers. The government, if you go on government website, CRA or Service Canada, there are ways that they direct you of how to make payment to the government. Don't wire money to a person who calls you suddenly out of the blue claiming to be from the government. So those are the top ones that we're seeing. And of course, these scams you can also see at BBB Scam Tracker. If you go there, you will see these scams. You see scams in Calgary, scams in Alberta, scams across Canada, and it gives you a better idea of what to look for, what to listen for when you get a call, a text, or an email. You can see what people have fallen for and how you can avoid falling for those scams as well. So that's a resource we encourage you to check out as well. And if you're interested in more information or having a presentation to a group that you're a part of, feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Shauna. That was great. I have many questions, but I'll wait till the end. Not many. That sounds threatening, but okay. So we'll move on to Keely. You have a presentation as well. Are you okay to share your screen?
I can do that. One moment.
We should have like music in between.
There you go. Is that coming up okay?
Yes, it looks great.
Well, don't flatter me. I was the one who did this, so there's nothing professional about it. So my name is Constable Keely Greer. I am with the government. I think I've been vetted by Rebecca, so hopefully you can trust that. I'm with a team that's called the Fraud Team, not a very inventive name, but with the Calgary Police Service. Our mandate, so what we do, is to investigate people who are active within the city of Calgary who are doing identity theft and fraud in Calgary. But we also assist with files that might be more complex with offenders or criminals who are working outside of Calgary, because so much of fraud is online or international. So I'm not going to talk too extensively about some of the things that Shauna Kay has already hit on, but I'll get into a couple of common scams that we see. Shauna did a wonderful job of hitting on the motivation of the fraudsters that we see and deal with, but I will hit that again because it's important. And then just a little bit of fraud prevention and how to report. If anyone has any questions, please ask them. I'm not here to talk at you. This is your opportunity. If there's something that you want to know about these topics, please ask. If I talk too fast or say something you don't understand, again, ask, and I will try and explain myself better. Okay. So, motivation of fraudsters is always money and your identity. If they can, they will get money out of you now, and they'll get as much as they can. Shauna was talking about romance scams. Those scams where they spend some time being your friend, making you feel less lonely. This is the perfect person for you. They like all the same things that you do, and then they're going to start hitting you for money. So I'm trapped in a foreign country. I need money to get out. And you give them $5,000 to get out of the country. Then they're going to hit you up again. They need another $5,000 because they're at the airport and they have to pay a tax. Then they're going to hit you up again. They need $3,000 more because their luggage isn't being released and their grandmother's sick. Something like that. They will get as much money out of you as they can in the shortest amount of time for the least amount of effort. Identity. If they can't get your money, or at the same time as they're getting your money, they will also take your identity. So those phone calls or the job scams are a good one, actually. So when you get that email or reach out from somebody from a job board where you posted your resume and they say, you're perfect for our job, whatever the job might be, except you don't have the qualifications and you've never heard of this person and their company isn't real on the internet. They're trying to get your identity as well as money from you. So they're going to ask you for your social insurance number, your phone number, your address, your full name, your date of birth, at the same time as they're going to be asking you to accept a deposit of a fake check in your bank account. And the Better Business Bureau is more diplomatic than I am. I will say that any time that you receive a check and are asked to forward the funds to somewhere else, it's a scam. And that check will ultimately be a fake check or a fraudulent check from another victim or just a totally fake one that they've made. Don't forward money is a takeaway from there. So money, they'll get as much as they can out of you as quickly as possible. And identity, they're going to steal your contact information in order to get more money. Of course, your identity is worth more than what's in your bank account, because especially if you've been a great person your whole life, you've paid your bills, you've paid your mortgage on your house, you own a car, something like that. Your identity is worth more than the money they can get out of you. They will take out loans in your name once they have your identity. They'll get credit cards, mortgages, vehicles, and they won't do it once. They will do it over and over and over again. Once you've lost control of your identity, you may never get it back. So, would you hand your wallet to a stranger on the street with all of your money inside of it? No. Don't hand your SIN or your date of birth or your address over to people who ask you for it. You want them to prove who they are first, or you want to do some research about who they are first. Let's talk about the CRA scam. This is a big one that BBB also talked about, but I think that we can probably discuss it a little more. This is one that we see a lot as police. We see people who have their entire life savings potentially fed into a Bitcoin machine. Bitcoin machines have legitimate purposes, but from my perspective as a police officer, I don't see those. What I see is that people go to Bitcoin machines and it's a scam. If you get a call from somebody claiming to be the government, Canada Revenue Agency, Service Canada, anyone with the government who is saying they're going to arrest you because you've done something wrong and you must pay now, it's a scam. You have the right to ask for people from the government or from anything like a bank or a telephone company to identify themselves. If they won't identify themselves properly, they won't tell you their badge numbers, they won't give you a way to figure out that they are the person that they say they are, hang the phone up. You don't have to talk to them anymore. Do your own research and figure out who they are. If you're satisfied that they are the person that they say they are, you don't have to deal with them whatsoever. When I phone people and I talk to them, and I've got their personal information because I'm dealing with a crime, I might phone them out of the blue and say, hello, my name's Constable Keely Greer. I'm with the fraud team. I'm investigating an identity fraud. Some of them hang up on me. That's fine, because I can figure out other ways to prove who I am and to get in contact with them in order to deal with whatever I'm investigating. It's okay to hang up the phone. SIN frauds and bank investigator scams. It's similar to the CRA scam, but you might get a call where someone says your social insurance number has been used for a crime. It's been used for drug trafficking, or millions of dollars have been moved through your social insurance number somehow. Your bank account maybe was used. Again, they're trying to make you make a decision quickly. They're saying you're going to be arrested, that somebody's coming to your door right now, and you have to maybe move your money in order to protect it. Don't worry about it. Anyone who tells you that you have to give them money right now, move your money right now, you'll be arrested right now, you don't have to talk to them. You can hang up the phone, do your own research. You can phone the Calgary police and verify who a police officer is if someone is saying they are a police officer. We direct people to do that all the time, to verify and to figure out whether they're really talking to a police officer. So what to do? Like I said, no government agency, no police officer is going to tell you to put your money in a Bitcoin ATM. And nobody is going to tell you to get Google Play cards or iTunes cards to pay your taxes. If it doesn't sound like it's real, or even if you're not sure, talk to a friend, talk to a family member, talk to a coworker, talk to anybody else but the person on the phone, and verify. Figure out if it's true. I'm just showing you this because this is part of a program that we've done where we've put these stickers on Bitcoin ATMs and also some posters in stores. These are a last effort by the Calgary police to intervene when you're right at the Bitcoin ATM and you're feeding your money inside of it. Hopefully you see this right before you do it and you stop. You ask a friend, you ask a coworker, you ask the clerk in the store because they know about this fraud. Don't put your money in the ATM. Just general security concern, emails or phone calls. This is similar to what BBB was saying. You get that phone call out of the blue, you get an email, you have somebody saying that your account's been compromised, maybe your phone number's been compromised, your computer, your email, your Amazon account, your Facebook account, and they want you to click on a link in order to change your password, to verify your account. The simple answer is never click on any of these links. Don't open any attachments and don't respond to these emails. If you think there may actually be a problem with your Amazon account or your Facebook account or your bank account, then do your own research to call your bank on the right phone number or to email Amazon at the right email to ask about an issue with your account. Don't click on any links. And again, ask a friend. If it doesn't sound right or if you're not sure, talk to your friends. Personal information breaches are they've been a problem for years now, and they're a problem for us as police and, of course, as the public. Again, it's when people are clicking on links that you may be giving some of your information away. So you get that email, you click on the link. What it's going to take you to is a web page where you're going to be asked to fill in your information. They're looking again for your date of birth, your address, your full name, your phone number, your SIN number, any of these things that will help them steal your identity. And it may not even just be from an email or a phone number, but there's another slide a little further along. So again, don't reply. If you have any concerns, close it up. Talk to Amazon, talk to Facebook, talk to your friends or family. Ask other people besides whomever's called you or emailed you whether this is real or a scam. BBB talked about checks being sent to you. I won't talk further about this other than to say if you're being sent a check that you weren't expecting and it's not in the name of the person you were expecting it from, and you're depositing it and being asked to move money to another account, e-transfer, wire, another check, whatever it might be, it's a scam. Don't cash it, or if you've already cashed it, don't move the money. We get those reports quite frequently where somebody cashed the $3,000 account or $3,000 check from the new employer that they have from their Indeed.com or Monster or whatever it might be job. You've cashed the check, don't move the money. Leave the money there. The bank will figure out whether it's going to actually clear because there's a delay. When you put the check in your bank account or you put the e-transfer into your bank account, it's not real money yet, and it won't be for several days, maybe a couple of weeks. So leave the money there, tell the bank you think you made a mistake, and the bank will tell you if it doesn't clear. Other just best practices for avoiding fraud. If you don't recognize the phone number, don't answer the phone number. And then there's also the case of phone number spoofing. Some people, I think a lot of people are aware of this, but a phone number when you're calling can be made to look like another phone number. One problem that we've had a lot of lately is with the CRA scam or similar scams. People are getting phone calls from phone numbers that look like they're coming from us, the police. So they look like they're coming from 266-1234. You can make a phone number look like any phone number you want it to look like. So be careful when you're answering it, even if it says something like Canada Revenue Agency on it, ask for them to verify who they are. You don't have to talk to them. You can hang up the phone. Whenever they are rude, if they're pushing you to pay, lady, you have to pay right now. The police are going to be at your door in 10 minutes. It's a scam. We don't do that. If I'm going to arrest you, I will probably just show up at your door in a uniform and tell you that. So best practices again, don't click on the links. Please don't click on the links. You may get these in a text message as well. Don't click on them in an email. Don't click on them in a text message. Never click on the links. Do your research first. Figure out if it's actually Amazon that's talking to you or the government of Canada telling you you've made a CERB deposit. Talk to someone. Please tell someone else. The thing that I've noticed happens the most with frauds is that people are embarrassed, and that's understandable. We don't want to think of ourselves as having been a sucker somehow, having fallen for a scam. If you don't tell people about these scams, though, then you're leaving everyone else there to also fall for it. So please tell other people, hey, I got this phone call the other day, and I was at the Bitcoin ATM when I saw this sticker that said, don't put your money in it. Tell other people. It'll stop them from doing the same thing. Same point I'm kind of making right now. Don't keep it a secret. Tell people about what's happened. That's the way that we can stay ahead of scammers and fraudsters, is by educating everyone around us. I can't talk to all 1.1 million people in Calgary, but I can talk to you and you can tell other people. And together we can make a lot of them understand how fraud happens. If you haven't lost any money, or if your identity information hasn't been stolen, you didn't give all your name, date of birth, SIN number away, you can talk to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre. This is their website, that is their phone number, and you can report what happened through them. They use that information, they can use it for nationwide investigations. They are run through the RCMP, and they can take, if you have 2 people in Calgary, but you have 20 people in Toronto and 10 on the East Coast who all got the same email from the same place, they take that information and put it together so that they can use it better, because it's more information. It's always more information is better for investigations. If you have lost money, call us. We want you to report this stuff. Some of this you can even just report online. So the non-emergent number when there isn't an emergency is 266-1234. Phone your bank. Your bank has lots of good ideas about how to protect yourself afterwards. They deal with this all the time with identity theft. Credit agencies. If you don't know what a credit bureau is, the long and short of it, a credit bureau is an agency that has all of your identity information, and they use it to, anytime a bank or anytime you're buying a car, you're getting a credit card, those companies ask Equifax and TransUnion if you are a good bet. Will you pay your loan off? And Equifax and TransUnion have your history of how many payments you've made and whether you made them on time. They also have all your personal information. So contact Equifax and TransUnion when you've lost your identity information, because you want to tell them that's happened. When an offender makes an application for that car loan or a mortgage or a credit card, Equifax may get notified and be able to help you stop it. They won't stop it, but they'll tell you it's happening so you can stop it. From a police perspective, if you're reporting, it's really important that you keep the evidence. So that text message you received, keep it, don't delete it. Emails, contracts, if you signed a contract with somebody, e-transfers. So your information from your bank about the e-transfer, where it went and to whom, when it went, because maybe you don't remember, it's been 3 months. You need to keep that information or try and get it if you can before you phone us, because we need to know what actually happened. Without that information, it's a lot harder for us to investigate the fraud, but that doesn't mean you can't report it. If you're not sure what happened, you just know that you have 10 telephones with Rogers, you can still report that. And we'll look into it and we'll help you figure out what you can get from the telephone company or the credit card company in order to help us do the investigation. And that's it. Now, do I know how to shut this off? Is it different?
If you click at the top, it should say stop sharing. That was great. Thank you so much. Okay, so I thought, because we don't have much time left, I'm going to play the Smart Tips video, and then we can talk a little bit about that. It actually includes some of the scams that you talked about, actually. So it will show some real examples. These are not real people, they're actors, but it will show the scenarios. And then after, I'll ask you guys a few questions because I wrote some questions down. Okay, let's find this video. Okay. Can you guys see my video? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear it? Okay, this is like a 1, 2, 3 check.
Hi there. Are you Peter?
Yes. Hi, you must be Nigel.
Oh, yes.
Nice to meet you.
Hope to meet you soon.
All right, so I got all the papers here for signing. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take a walk through the rental unit because my tenants are in there till the end of the month, so no big deal.
That's too bad. I've only seen the photos online. I wanted to see it in person before signing the contract.
Nigel, look, I know you're new here, so trust me when I'm telling you this is an amazing deal. Okay, it's way cheaper than the other units in the market. There's a lot of people wanting to rent this place. So either you sign today, or you might lose your chance.
You know what? My wife and kids are moving in soon, so I do need to find a place as soon as I can.
All right, that's why I'm here. How about this? You can move in as early as next week. I'll just need your first month's rent, let's say 3 months security damage deposit. So what is that? 4 months rent total, you pay that in cash. The unit's yours.
Can I have some time to think about it? Discuss with my wife?
Okay, Nigel, look. I already told you there's other people wanting to rent this place. You either sign today or you're gonna lose your chance.
If something feels too good to be true, it probably is. Here are some steps you can take to protect yourself. Slow down and give yourself time to think. Scammers will try to make you make quick decisions. Do careful research. Check to confirm all the facts. Search online. If in doubt, ask questions and get opinions from friends, family, counselors, or the police. Never give or send money to someone you don't know or trust.
Guess who just got an interview?
Hey!
That's strange. I never applied for this job or even heard of this company before.
Maybe you apply and just forgot.
No way. I keep track of every job I applied for. It says they're an overseas company. They saw my resume online I want to schedule an online interview.
Just be careful. If they ask for money or personal information at the start, then something is wrong.
Don't worry. I'll research the company and give them a call later too. Okay, dear, I've got to go get ready.
All right.
See you
Okay, then.
later soon.
Well, that's the end of the interview, Sarah. We think you'd be a great fit for the job. Do you have any questions for us?
There's one thing. I tried looking up the company's website and calling the number there, but I couldn't get much information or reach anyone.
Well, as I said, we are an overseas company opening a new office. We don't have everything set up yet, but I promise if you check back later, you'll find more information.
Well, the position does sound perfect. I'm just surprised a part-time job would pay this much. And you said I can work from home too, right?
That's right. I'm glad you like the offer, Sarah. Now, if you don't have any more questions, all we need is your social insurance number and your banking information. For your first job, we'll send you a check to deposit. Some will be your pay, the rest you'll help us transfer to a client. Sound good?
Hello?
This is Officer Jordan Smith with the Canada Revenue Agency. I'm calling because there's a criminal case against you for tax evasion.
I owe money, but I filed my taxes already.
Yes, ma'am, but you still owe money, and the police are going to come to your house if you do not pay.
The police? Am I under arrest?
You will be if you don't pay right away. You owe $1,200.
I don't have that kind of money. I'm a single mother.
Yes, ma'am, it is very serious. You will be arrested and your children will be alone. Do you want that?
No! The police? Okay, how do I pay?
If you are a victim of a scam, it is okay. You should report the crime right away to keep others from falling for similar scams. You can file scam reports with the following agencies: the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, CAFC, at 1-888-495-8501 or www.antifraudcentre.ca. Your local police. All involved financial institutions. You may need to change account numbers, PINs, bank cards, and place a fraud alert on your credit report. Be aware that most scams are online. Recognizing potential scams prepares you to make smart decisions in the future.
Hello, I am back. Sorry, for some reason the video is still playing. Can you guys hear it? Okay. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So yeah, I guess that video is a really good summary of a lot of things that you guys said. So you said that often scammers are really aggressive. So the first one where he was very happy and, oh, like, I'm here for you. And then he got kind of aggressive and like, come on, sign now or it's the end. And I think that happens a lot with scams, is like, come on, you're going to lose your boat that you won or your chance to get this amazing job or something like that. So I think that happens a lot. And the employment scam that you guys both talked about, yeah, so they of course ask you to deposit a check and they get your information as well. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you one question, or a couple, just for the last few minutes. What is the weirdest scam you have ever heard of? Or the most interesting?
Well, I think one of my favorites is the black money scam. I haven't actually dealt with that one, but that's where you would get some sort of offer, maybe through email or a letter, that there was a bunch of money from an inheritance or a secret, some organization or prince or whatever, and it was all in a trunk somewhere, and we have it right here, and they'd show you a video maybe of all this black money. So it was money that was all colored black, is what they were telling you, and they had a special formula that you could use to wash the money to make it clean, and then you would have $1 million or whatever. And they might even, if they had some local people, invite you down, and they would show you the money, and they put the special liquid on it. They'd say, "Here, pick any bill you want." So you pull out the bill, and they would wash the money right in front of you, and with some sleight of hand, they'd change it out for a real bill, and you'd be like, "Wow, please have my $10,000 to buy this special liquid to wash all the money." That's one of my favorites.
That's amazing. I feel like scams are bad, but I'm often impressed by the lengths that people will go to get your money or your information. Like building an entire website that looks exactly like the Royal Bank site. Like that's impressive. I don't know. For me, I'm okay with technology, but I can't imagine building an entire website for something. But I guess if you're going to make a lot of money from it. Shauna, do you have a scam that was really interesting?
I don't think I can tell that.
It's a secret. It's a secret scam.
I've not seen that one. It's quite interesting, but we may say, it's weird that people will fall for that. But scammers, they also play on your psychology, on your emotions as well, right? So the fact that they show you this right before your eyes, they use that whether it's in person or over the phone. But I think for me, the scams that are always fascinating are the romance scams, and how victims are played, and how over time, this is not one of the scams that will happen like within a day or 2 days, but the scammers are very persistent. They will send you that email, they try to build your trust, and then after building your trust for a couple months, you start getting pictures of them, and they seem just to be the perfect fit. And there's no convincing you otherwise. They've convinced you so much that they are the person that you no longer want to talk with your family members about this person. And that's always sad, fascinating, and you end up spending 5,000, then 2,000, then 10,000, and before you know it, people are losing 30,000, 40,000 even. Wow. And these are real stories. And the numbers may seem, the amount of money may seem like a lot, but people are losing this much money to these scammers. So those ones are always fascinating for me. And it just goes to show that we're all at risk. We can all fall. And the scammers, it's their 9 to 5. They know what they're doing. They study their craft.
They do, yeah. And I think they practice that. Do you find that romance scams are increasing because of COVID-19, right? People are inside, they're lonely. We're more lonely than I think we normally are. Do you find that romance scams are increasing right now?
Yeah, I think they're increasing. I think we're getting more reports about them. And that's because we're isolated, and scammers, especially for romance scams, they love that. They love when you're by yourself. You're not really connecting with people as much. And with this isolation, physical distancing, social distancing, I think for next year, when we start looking at the final numbers, we're going to see romance scam up there as well.
I get a lot of sorry, Keely, did you have something to say?
Well, I was going to say, Steve, whereas we're not getting those reports because the romance scam especially is one that is a high embarrassment factor for people. And so they don't report it to us. And we have people who've lost, $1 million over 10 years in a romance scam kind of thing, where they just keep getting strung along. And so we don't see those reports as often because often people don't want to report to police with the embarrassment factor. It may be ongoing, so the family members might intervene and report for them, but we haven't seen an increase. It'll probably happen next year when people finally get the courage to report it to someone as scary as me.
Yeah, you're really scary. No. But I do think it's good that they're reporting to someone, I guess. If they tell the Better Business Bureau, though, you don't investigate it like the police, though, right? You'll just do like posts and that?
Right. So when it's reported to the Better Business Bureau, of course, it's on our BBB scam tracker. So, and we also try to do media alerts. So that's a way of warning other people of what to look out for in these scams. But the investigation of these kinds of scams, we wouldn't do that.
Okay. But it's still good. It's just that, do you ever encourage the people that contact you to report it to the anti-fraud center or to the police?
Yeah, definitely. We have a good working relationship with CPS Anti-Fraud Center. So when they file these reports that we can't investigate or we can't take legal action, then we direct them to these organizations who we know can help them with that kind of work.
Great. That's good. Yeah, because I'm wondering, like, now that COVID-19 is a thing, there are now special COVID-19 scams, right?
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I find that scammers are always adapting. There was the Fort McMurray scams. There's always like a scam connected to everything, I think. Keely, do you want to talk about what are some COVID-19 scams right now?
Oh, well, I mean, one of them I can't talk a whole bunch about because it's an ongoing investigation, but definitely when we first started lockdown, immediately the regular frauds that we see for whatever it might be online, or even some in person, they changed the wording of how they were pressuring you. So they would mention coronavirus and COVID, like the one where I need money to get out of whatever country because my grandmother has died and the border taxes are $5,000 because of COVID. And so they would add that on there.
I do find like that's one of the scams that we didn't really talk about was social media scams, like where I've had several. I've had friends reach out to me that I haven't talked to in 15 years. Hey, Becca, how are you? I'm doing great. Even had an aunt that I haven't talked to in a really long time. And I was like, oh, it's a scam instantly because the way that they were talking to me was so friendly that, yeah. So then they suddenly, oh, I'm in England and I lost all my money and I need you to send me money for my hotel. And I said, I've heard of this scam, and they deleted their account. But yeah, so like, I guess that's a hard one too for newcomers is like when someone from their family calls, usually it would be in another language though. So I hope that they would be like, oh, wait, they wouldn't call me in English. They'd call me in Arabic. But yeah, people contacting them and being like, hey, I need help right now. That's what happens to a lot of, I think, seniors is their grandchildren call them and need help or something. But yeah, so that's another scam. Yeah. But yeah, I think scammers are just really, really smart. And they're always coming up with new ways to find ways to get your money and your information. If you could just summarize for the last thing, summarize what you think is the most important thing that newcomers should realize and what they should do if they think they're facing a scam. Just one sentence.
One sentence would be never send money to someone you've never met, you do not know, or you're not conducting any kind of business transaction with. Is that one sentence?
Yeah, that was good. I'll count it as one.
I already said my one sentence, but I'll say it again. Ask someone else. Stop. Ask someone else's opinion.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. My one sentence I would say from all this is hang up. if someone calls you and they're emailing you or something, yeah, like you said, talk to someone, but don't be afraid to hang up and call back. Especially if it's a government organization and it is actually them calling you. Calling back, they're not going to get angry at you or anything like that. So yeah, I like that advice. Okay, so I am going to put a bunch of things in the chat, and I'll check to see if we have anything there. I know someone made a comment that like they had seen the employment scam, that they often get that. I have actually never had the employment scam. Maybe my resume is not good enough. But I've never had anyone reach out and be like, here's a job. Or maybe they have and I just ignored it because I was like, oh, I didn't apply to that. Yeah. So I'm going to put some things into the chat. So I have included our company's website that has our videos, including this one, our YouTube channel. I also have added 2 surveys. One is for newcomers and one is for people that work with newcomers. And it's just to ask your opinion about, not about this presentation, but about our program and our project and how it's going. So I will put those into the chat for everyone who watches this now or later. And yeah, well, thank you so much, Keely and Shauna. I really enjoyed our time. That's why we went 10 minutes over, because I just want to ask you more questions about it's a very interesting topic, I guess, but thank you so much.
Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
I'm happy to talk about fraud.
As long as I want. 3 hours, just kidding. Okay, well, thank you so much, and I'll get